Not on yet. Are we on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. I.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. All of you out there in the audience to a meeting of the Town Planning Board.
I had my pick of the seats, yes.
First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of August the 8th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with no changes.
Second by Judy. All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain. Approved, minutes are approved as written. The next item on our agenda is an application by Kaiser Compressors. This is an initial presentation relative to a site plan and special use permit for property located at 7162 North Central Avenue, East Syracuse, New York. Tax map number 054-02-1. And you are here, sir, on behalf of the applicant.
That's correct.
Can you, if you wouldn't mind coming to the podium and just telling us who you are and why you are doing this and what you are trying to do?
Absolutely. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jamison Vincent. I'm a branch manager with Kaiser Compressors. We've recently decided to open a factory direct location for our company here in Syracuse, and we found a nice property in East Syracuse, and so we'd like to purchase that building. And accordingly, we're applying for the appropriate permits and special use permit as well.
The building itself, if I'm looking at the plans correctly, it doesn't look like you're going to do any structural differences on the building itself.
That's correct. Yeah, the reason why we like the building is it's perfectly suited for what we're going to be doing already. So there'll be no kind of build out or even interior modification. So the office space is perfectly sized. I think there's 4 or 5 offices, and that's about how many permanent folks we have to employ. And then there's a small warehouse behind the building, which would work out very well to store some of the parts and service items that we'll need to service the compressors that we have for customers throughout central and upstate New York.
Do you manufacture anything here?
No, we do not.
Okay, so I guess I misunderstood as I was reading through this. You're not doing the same thing that you're doing currently. You're going to do something different, but in the same building.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And it's the fabrication of windows?
That's the existing owner. It's a glass glazing company.
Okay.
He's closed the business and is selling the property.
And what are you doing?
So it'll be a sales and service office for compressed air equipment. So our sales professionals and service technicians are remote, and they service and sell compressors throughout all of upstate New York. And the office will primarily be for a couple of administrative staff, myself included, and then just the storage of maintenance and repair parts in this warehouse facility.
Okay.
And you are going to be on the south side of Central Ave and having no one else on that south side of Central Ave other than a railroad.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, butts up right against the CSX.
I have one question as I'm going through this. I'm trying to recall compressors. When you're testing a compressor, does that make any degree of noise?
So we manufacture and sell rotary screw compressors. So most people, when they think of a compressor, they think of like a pancake reciprocating compressor that they might have at home, and that those are very loud and noisy. So the maximum decibel limit on our compressors is like 70 to 80 decibels, which is quiet. We could be having a conversation in this room with the compressor operating at that level. We don't anticipate doing much operation of the equipment. It'd be very sporadic. The only times would be if we were bringing a piece of equipment in from the customer site to repair and test it. Most of the repairs are done on the customer site because these are larger compressors used. Like, for example, all the Amazon distribution facilities use our equipment, a lot of manufacturing and industrial applications.
Questions from the board?
Are your people already trained out in the field?
We're working on that. So we opened officially, we took over the territory from a previous distributor on May 1st. And so since then, I've been in the process of hiring and getting the folks trained. So.
And how many people do you have out in the field?
So when we're fully staffed, we'll have two sales reps, 2 service technicians, and then 4 people in the office. So 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 folks with plans to grow into the Albany area and then a little bit further upstate too, kind of as we continue to grow.
Who buys your equipment?
So really, it's a large, swath of potential customers. So on the smaller end, it might be a small garage or a body shop. And on the higher end, it's major manufacturers. So Tessie Plastics in Auburn is a customer of ours, as is Courier Plastics. A lot of metal fabrication and welding, things that use a lot of compressed air for their business. And as I mentioned previously, all of the Amazon distribution facilities that they're opening up all over the country, they run on our compressed air equipment. All the conveying systems and the bags that get inflated and come with your packages are all filled with Kaiser air. So
Interesting.
At this point, you do not own the property. You have it under contract.
correct. We have a purchase and sale agreement that's currently going back and forth between our attorney and the seller's attorney, but the seller and us, the buyer, have agreement on terms and principle. So the lawyers are just hammering out the finer details of the purchase and sale agreement.
Personally, I think this is a fantastic use of the property. I think it fits in very well. Gilkey Glass Company, or whatever they used to call themselves. You never knew they were there. And before that, we had Fasano contractors there. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
However,
I agree.
no matter how simple it is, we still have to have a public hearing.
Sure.
So we are going to would entertain a motion to schedule a public hearing. And Valerie, all in favor?
I,
Just so everybody knows, we have been fielding questions from Jim Kobe last year. Lisa and I have talked about a couple of times. We thought this was the best way to go. Even industrial uses. So
who's got questions for what?
he's been looking to sell this for some time,
Oh, okay,
and we support.
okay, okay.
And that'll work out, keeping the zoning industrial with a special use permit. September, we're gonna do an earlier date than we thought, September 12th. Was that date okay for you, sir?
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Okay, and this will give the public an opportunity to step forward and express any thoughts or feelings about this. It would be our intent to follow up immediately following the public hearing with making a determination relative to special use and site plan approval. Sure.
Okay.
You're all set, sir.
All set?
All set until September 12th.
Okay, sounds good. And
Thank you.
I'll be in touch with any questions.
Sounds
leading
good.
up to that. So,
Okay.
Okay, thanks, folks. And Miles, thank you for
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is an application by KDP Manlius, New York LLC. This is today for an initial presentation for a site plan. Intended use as an electric car sales and service at 5427 North Burdick Street, Fayetteville. This is two tax map numbers, 086-1-4.2 and 086-1-4.3. Is there anyone here on behalf of the applicant?
Yep, he's
This
on.
is Zoom.
Mhm.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear us?
Good evening. Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
We can hear you now.
Great. And you can see my screen okay?
It's getting there, yeah?
All right, perfect. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Anthony Rojas. I am principal at In Architects, representing the owners on this project, the developers on this project. The project site is located at 5427 North Burdick Street, formerly the Fayetteville Dodge. To our north is the Romano Ford and Volkswagen, and to the south is the Kohl's and at Fayetteville Town Center. And I believe I'm joined today with our engineers, Wolpert, who are on the line as well, our civil and site engineers, who, if we have any questions in regard to them, I'm sure they can answer and join in as well. So our project here today, you know, we're representing KDP. They are developers on this project that are purchasing this building, and they are representing a new tenant, which we will go with electric car service and sales for this moment. We're not allowed to disclose the tenant name at this point until the lease agreement has been finalized, but that's currently being worked on. So announcement coming soon. They are looking to occupy this space as it was formerly occupied, so no change of use of the structure, still going to encompass a showroom aspect and primarily a large service area. So I'm going to show you the site plan here. Currently, North Burdick Street is to the right of us here, so north is upwards on the page. There's an existing structure towards the front of the site, about 15,000 square feet. And then there's a secondary structure towards the rear of about 7,800 square feet. And those structures will remain and they will be renovated. And then there will be an expansion aspect to this project as well. So towards the rear of the front building, we are proposing to add 16,000 square feet roughly for additional service space. This will remain a one-story structure. And to the north, there is currently a partial, access road with an overhead door that goes here. We would be extending that access area around the north of the building all the way around. We would be affecting less than an acre. We're roughly around 39,000 square feet at this point of disturbed site. So we will, be remaining underneath that 1 acre area of site disturbance. This area of expanding this road will require some retention area, site retention wall, low wall, no taller than 5 feet to be able to gain the access we would need around our current site conditions. Towards,
You had mentioned, you said retention wall. You're talking about
It's
a
just-
retaining wall?
it's a retaining wall, yes. Yes, a 5-foot tall retaining wall at its max, and then it comes down to about a foot high on either end of it. So it's no taller than a foot, no taller than 5 feet. In terms of the exterior, the hope is to remove some of the decorative kind of aged design of the entrance areas. There's some kind of arched kind of windows here with these columns that sit up here, and all of that is being removed to clean up the facade. Wherever there is ephes that's damaged, they will be replaced and painted. The signage band that currently exists today that's up high will be repaired and brought to new life. There will be new storefront windows, new storefront entries, new overhead doors, and then the intent to repave the entire site with new striping will also be done as well. Towards the rear of the property, you'll see this single-story addition that happens at this point on back. You can notice that a little better from the elevations. So we're creating a flat roof addition to allow for our mechanical units to be up on the roof to service the expansion and the existing building A. Towards the front here, you'll see that we're also, we will be repairing the secondary building, removing some of that ephes material that currently exists down here to simplify kind of the remaining structure and repaint, refinish, replace doors as well, and some new signage back there as well.
You know when the original building was built? Just out of curiosity.
The original, so there's been about 4 projects at this site. There was the very original kind of front building, and then it was expanded, and then the secondary building was built with an expansion on the second building as well. And I believe it's everything from the 40s upwards. It's fairly early for that very first initial building, maybe 50s. And then every so often there was an expansion project to the site.
Okay, so Doug, question for you. Even though they're only disturbing an acre, should we require a SWIP because laws have changed, the rules have changed, so on and so forth over the years?
Yeah, we generally have in scenarios like this,
Okay.
right, to make sure that, we stay at or below the impact of the other neighbors. You got a couple different. You got the YMCA, you got the mall. So I would request that we can
Yeah, because
get a generic SWIP.
it doesn't look like there's any retainage on the property at all.
Right.
Okay, all right.
So I think that behooves everybody's well-being, so that, down the road.
Yep.
The why or doesn't come back and say, well, this never happened before.
No, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, Anthony?
So you would be requiring a SWIP even if we're
Yes.
underneath the acre?
Yes.
Please.
Mr. Rojas, I wanted to ask you, I'm seeing your signage on the building. Are there do you have any intent to have monuments street side, identifying what it is?
So there was a former, I believe it was about 15, 16 feet tall. There was a signage pylon there by the former tenant that was removed by the tenant when they vacated the premise. So all we have is the foundation left. The new tenant is currently evaluating if they want to maintain that signage pylon or apply for a monument sign. It kind of sounds like they're leaning towards a monument sign, but there hasn't been a decision made. So we will be modifying the application, to include that sign as soon as we know that answer.
Okay, we're gonna need to know that sooner than later.
Yes. And then in terms of service, we are going to be upgrading water service to the property because we are going to sprinkler the existing buildings and the expansion building. So they're currently not sprinklered. So both buildings will be sprinklered plus the addition. We did speak to the fire chief in terms of access around the building and if the expansion, the addition would be an issue with fire access, and it was his opinion that we would be okay in maintaining the access that currently exists and as we had proposed in our plan. All he requested was an additional hydrant, which we will be located on site. So it would be a private hydrant that would be added. We will be increasing also the gas service to this site, as well as increasing the electric service. So currently, I believe there's 300 amps or 400 amps to this site. We're going to need to increase to about 1200 amps is what our current need is. And we're currently working with Grid for that service upgrade.
I'm assuming right now that there are no fuel tanks on the property, and obviously you won't need them in the future.
Right. That is the intent.
And
There will be.
There are no fuel tanks on the property now.
No, and the intent, there will still be a grease separator for all of the drains throughout the building and from on the service side. There will still be we still will be required to have an interceptor to separate grease from water.
Will the facade of the proposed new building be consistent with the facade on your existing?
Yeah, so currently towards the front of the building, towards the north vertex side, there's existing ephes, but the ephes ends right at this return wall. The rest of the building towards the back and building C is a vertical metal siding. So we would be matching the vertical metal siding of that portion of that structure and with building C, the secondary building. And it would be painted consistent so that the entire structure is uniform, except for this signage band towards the front. That'll be a secondary brighter color so that the signage pops.
Did you have some drawings? You did give us some drawings.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see the color drawing. Oh, you got color.
Anthony, so is there, I'm trying to, when I drove by, I couldn't totally tell, but is there, currently, does it connect to Romano's property? Is there a connection there, did you say?
There's no vehicular connection, and there's quite a steep grade change between Romano's site and our site.
There won't be after then, okay.
Yep, there's no connection there, and there's no connection to the Cole site. Anyway, we only have one access point into the site. because grade changes here quite substantially as well to our north. So there really is no additional access points.
That's why the retaining wall then too.
Right, we currently don't have a retaining wall in this area, and there is a approximately 16-foot wide, maybe 14-foot wide asphalt area towards the north of our building. We want to extend that access all the way through, and at that point, we would be impacting this grade to where we would require the retaining wall. Not only for maintenance of, you know, the transformer and any other equipment that might be located on the north side, but there is also vehicular access through the building from a service perspective that they'd like to maintain that access around. So we thought that it is a necessity to add that retaining wall and retain that access.
Not that it matters, but I find it interesting. There's no offices.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear him.
Oh, I just find it interesting. There's no offices.
So we do have a mezzanine level in building A that we would be utilizing as office space. And I don't have the mezzanine level in this plan for some reason. So I will submit that. Up on these stairs here, there is access
There's
to
no
offices.
offices.
They don't need them for electric.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Good observation. But yes, there is offices.
The architect had a question, and I don't know why he's not turning on his audio, but the town requested a SWIP for the project. Will the town require full water quality treatment and water quality controls?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, this is Joe Jacobs with Wolpert. Can I ask a follow-up question? Those full water quality treatment and water quality quantity controls, are we allowed to use Chapter 9 redevelopment in accordance with New York State DEC stormwater regulations?
Specifically, what in Chapter 9 would you be looking for?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Specifically, what would you be looking for?
You say we have a disturbance that's under an acre, and it's a local requirement to pursue full stormwater treatment, quality and quantity, per the New York State DEC stormwater manual. Are we allowed to use Chapter 9, which is a redevelopment criteria? Seeing that most of the site is currently impervious and we'd be replacing it with impervious. It's just a criteria that's eligible for under New York State DEC Phase 2 requirements. I wanted to just pick your brain to see if that would be eligible in the town's request for stormwater mitigation.
I think that would be reasonable, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Questions from the board?
I think it's a good use of the property that's sitting there vacant right now.
It's consistent with prior usage. And we're moving into the more modern era of somewhat known electric.
Terrible.
I think we're all set to move forward and have a public hearing. I'm wondering if we're going to be able to get a SWIP in time for public hearing, or you have a timetable on what it would take?
Yes, we should be able to put together. So if it's not if we're using redevelopment criteria, it won't be very complicated SWIP. It's pretty straightforward.
We're thinking in terms of September 12th for the public hearing, but we want to be able to have the SWIP in.
But this we need county,
Yeah, the
so
county.
I might as well just push it.
In fact, in light of the fact that we do need county approval, county input, not approval, the 26th of September. Okay,
Does the project get automatically referred to the county? Or is that something we have to?
it's nothing you need to do. We will forward all the information to the county.
And is that based on the SWIP requirement that the town would like to see and the area of impact of it being quote unquote over an acre, or is this just the normal process for this project? For every project?
Location, where it is.
Based on location, okay. Okay,
So if you're okay, we're putting it on the calendar for September 26th. We'll hopefully have the SWIP in before then, and we'll have any public input in the event they desire to speak their mind about the project.
and on September 26th, do you believe that this could be taken up for approval to be voted on? At that same meeting?
Depending on what we see happen at the public hearing, our intent would to move forward through seeker and move forward with site plan approval. Dependent on what we see in here.
Right.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to put it to the public hearing on the 26th.
We have a motion for the 26th, second by Judy beat it out. All in favor?
Aye.
We're on for the 26th of September.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. There being no other business,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
second by Ann, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.